Hi there, welcome to my backyard. During this time of masks, I've decided that for some of the, the lesser crucial things, I guess, that aren't really discussion-y, I'm going to do some videos and have you guys watch them and then get your notes that way. And then if any questions come up, then you can ask in class. So that's what we're going to do. Maybe a day, a week, or two. We'll see how it goes, because we're in this for at least 2 weeks and maybe more. So, anyway, what we're going to talk about here is two things. Number one, the Articles of Confederation, which you may or may not remember from APUSH as being our first constitution. It was that whole idea that when we got away from British rule, you didn't want to just get away. You wanted to get away, way far away. So we set up this Articles of Confederation, which was a very loose union of the states, which gave them a lot of different powers. And the main thing here, we're talking about the weaknesses. This is all I'm going to cover. I'm not going to beat this to death. Is that states were sovereign. And if you know what sovereignty is, good for you. If you don't, sovereignty is basically ultimate authority within a society. So Kim Jong-un is sovereign in North Korea. Joseph Biden is not sovereign because he has the Supreme Court and the legislature, at least in theory, to sort of check, which we'll get to later. So anyway, but states were fully sovereign, which was good because it gave them a lot of freedom, but it also led to some problems. And the main ones that we're going to focus on here would be different laws, of course, different money systems. So trade, think about trade being very difficult. Think about travel being difficult because border issues. You could charge tolls, and if you travel to one state and try to buy stuff or sell stuff, and you get different currencies, and you can see how that's a mess. And they each had their different militias as well in case of problems. So there were two main problems that came up because of this, and it was what to do about interstate disputes. Think borders, North Carolina, South Carolina. Where exactly is it? And if North Carolina wants to push down or South Carolina wants to push up, what happens? Today, of course, you go to the Supreme Court, but there was no Supreme Court, so that was part of the problem. And if a big state and a small state get in a fight, who's going to win that? That's like me against any of you, obviously. Secondly, it made them more susceptible to invasion. When you think about states that are almost like little countries, and they're all sort of doing their own little thing, and here come the British, hello, and here come the Frenchies, and makes it easier to pick them off. Kind of like, like nature shows. You ever watch that where there's that one little deer that sort of strays off because he's not paying attention. He's and then here comes the jaguar or whatever, and that is that. So same basic idea. So it became a bit of a problem. So the states they tried to get together once and hey, let's change it, and then okay, let's try it again, and then it didn't work again. And then we have Shay's Rebellion. And I don't know if you remember this. This was one of those things that you probably covered, and it doesn't take that long. But it wasn't important so much as what happened. What happened was, as a result of it, that's what led us to actually do something. So Shay's Rebellion, for our purposes right now, basically it's a group of farmers in Massachusetts who blocked the courts were like going through these. If you couldn't pay your debts, they'd shut your farm, take your property and all that. Well, the farmers didn't like it, obviously, so they just simply blocked the court. So if you think about Catherine, wherever you are, your dad goes into work one day with his judge robes on, and there's a bunch of farmers from Alexandria like, you ain't coming in here. And he's like, what do you mean? Well, you can't come in. We're blocking you with torches and pitchforks or whatever. What does he do? He gets his phone out and he calls the police, and they come and, kill them. Or, I'm kidding. But you can't just do that. But back then they couldn't really do much. So, do you want mob rule? the mob, by using violence, get their way. You can see that's no way to run a country. So finally this was, and if you've ever heard this phrase, I just wrote this was the last straw, the straw that broke the camel's back, and finally we realized you got to do something. And that's what leads us to the Constitutional Convention, and that's something that I will cover in class, except for a little part of it I'm going to do another video on. Okay, so this might be a little jumpy, and hope this works. Yeah. Anyway, hope you're enjoying your Saturday. I'll see you.